realized then that my father gave me this, I will defy, I will win anyway. And that's a gift. It's not the gift I wanted. My other father was Yates. He was my male mother. He wasn't alive, but your mentor doesn't have to be alive. Does that make sense to you?
What does a male mother do that the father doesn't do?
The father cannot do initiation well with the son because there's too much tension. You're both interested in the same woman. That's a problem. And when men recognize that their father, when the initiators are gone, then there's no one to welcome the young man into the male world. And all young men are angry about that. When you're looking at a gang, you're looking at young males who have no older man to welcome into the male world. They're trying desperately to do it themselves. They're trying to teach each other what courage is, how much pain you should endure, what a cause is. They're trying to do it. It doesn't work because young males cannot initiate each other. But they're angry at the absence of the older males who are not doing that. Well, when this group of old male initiators disappears, then everything falls on the father. The father's supposed to do everything. And when the young men that I talk to realize that their father could not have done that, then they begin thinking of the things their father did do to try to initiate them. Oftentimes they're touched, they weep when they think of the possibility. So when our father was only intended to keep us through the age of 35 and make sure we didn't get eaten by ants and stuff like that. He was never intended to initiate us.
And when the father is gone, as happens so often in America today, often it's just a single mother who is left to do it all, the initiation.
That's right, and women try very hard with that. And I remember I said at that thing in Evanston, I said, you know, a woman can bring a boy, can bring the boy from the fetus to be a boy, but she cannot move him from a boy to being a man. Only other men can do that. And some of the women got angry, and another woman said, I think he's right, because when my boy was in high school, I knew that he needed something harder than I could give him. And if I did that, I'd lose my own femininity. So it's just to say that women try very hard with this, and it's hopeless. They cannot really guide a boy all the way to being a man. That's a job for the men to do. And if a woman is in that situation, then she should recognize that and try to find some older man that she trusts and ask him to hold the boy in his heart. It isn't necessary that he take the boy to the zoo every other day. But many young men do not know a single older man who encourages them or holds them in their heart. So to some of the men who come to my things, I say, this next year you're not going to pay me with money. What I'd like you to do is to go out and find a young man who doesn't have any father in the house. I'd like you to hold that boy in your heart, which means that you may write him once a month, you may take him somewhere once a month, but he knows that he has a heart link through you with the male world. And that's a responsibility that the men have got to take in this country. They've got to take more responsibility for the younger men, for encouraging the younger men, admiring the younger men, and holding the younger men in their hearts.
How do we get in touch with the male mother that's in us? How do I find in me the male mother that serves another young man?
I would think that, first of all, one would consciously reject the idea that all men are in competition. In business, that is the primary assumption. And in fact, it happens. So that there are very few genuine male mothers in business. There are exceptions, of course, but I would say that, first of all, I never realized that younger men needed anything I had to give them.
Except a job.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I didn't realize that they are hungry and thirsty for a simple connection to an older man that's not shaming. What did the older men say? Clean up your room. Right? You did this wrong. You have to stay after school. You're foolish, stupid. And then they go to women for comfort. But what if they could go to older men for comfort? Then the women wouldn't be so burdened with all these aspirins and stuff. I think it would be a great relief to women that when the men could go to other men for comfort. So I have to realize that by being an older man, I have some substance that's helpful to younger men. And then I also have to realize that I can perform something for them without intending to, by being consciously aware that they need to step from the father to an older man to God. And I'm not a guru, because I'm not that. People say to me, will you be my father? I say, if it doesn't cost me anything, I'll think about it. But it isn't anything I do that you understand me, that you just have to agree that that's an important thing as is supporting your family, or loving your wife, or protecting the earth. A fourth important thing you can do is to be open to the younger men and recognize that they can use a blessing from you. And the way it's done in a place like Russia, where the toast is so fantastic, the toasts. And when they do toast at the dinner table, they will toast the younger man. Now the idea is that they have to see that younger man clearly. No lying, no flattery. They have to be able to see there, and then at the same time do some praise there. So
do some praise?
Do some praise. Blessing is a form of praise. Remember what Robert Moore said? How many young men have you admired in the last 2 weeks and told them so?
You can